present. Before we start, we'll have a prayer by Pastor Roddy Rogers from Landmark Baptist Church. Is he here? All right, Commissioner Angels, would you please lead us in support prayer?
Yes, sir. Father, we ask that you watch over us as we conduct this meeting. Father, we ask that we do the will of the people. Father, most importantly, we ask that we do the will of your Son who died on the cross for our sins so many years ago. Father, we ask that we be a light and that we show others our peace and love and comfort. Father, please be with us in your Son's name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Move to agenda item number 3 for public comments. We have one person signed, Sharon. Well, we have two. First one will be Sharon Owens.
I'm right here. I didn't realize I was going to be number 1.
Can you come up to the podium?
I'm here to talk about a case that I had submitted or called the police on Halloween Eve night. And I had my purse stolen from the house, which I knew the person that had taken my purse. I was told I needed to call and make a report on it. The insurance and everything paid for everything, but the person that stole my purse came from Neighborhood Watch, which he is still out there doing stuff. I've called 4 times. I have had no response. Y'all have been too busy to get to the case. That's been a month and a half. I have had nothing. I am here now to ask everybody to look at themselves and see that our county and everything is not doing the way it should be. And if we continue this, it will be bad. We're going to get worse. I would like to have people form a committee with a lot of volunteers that could help alleviate all y'all's problems of too much work, too much time. I have been through every one of y'all's systems in the last 2 years, and there's not one system that is working right. And the only way we can change it is if we go ahead and make some changes. And I'm willing to help do that if anybody would go ahead and help provide or get the word out that we need help, and that the citizens should help do that too. Now, that's basically what I'm asking, is that we get help to straighten out our system and for it to be better. I'm not going to complain about who did this. I know who did it. I gave the police department pictures. I gave them the names. I was told my Discover card came in. They had started using my card. And why has nothing been done in a month and a half? Nothing. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Do you think that anybody could help do that? They're not allowed to help do it.
Mr. Roger Markey.
Hi there, I'm here to address the Livernian Library issue. So,
Do you want to wait till that item comes up on the agenda?
It's on the agenda.
sure,
Why don't we do that?
Oh, great,
Yeah.
wait for that.
Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 5 are certificates of completion of awards, bonds, and continuation. Agenda item number 4. Have these put into the record for the VG Young School for Tax Assessor Collectors, Don Barnett, CGIS Security Privacy General Role, Crystal Hidalgo, and bond continuation for Jennifer Beatrice Fleming, Deputy County Clerk. Agenda item number 5 are extension and activity reports. Do we have anybody that wants to make a presentation?
Good morning. So in addition to our monthly reports, we have one of our very active 4-H members here to talk about our contest we had last week in Kerrville. So I'm going to let her kind of go through all the different things she got to do.
To start off, on Thursday, Miss Allison gave me the opportunity to take pictures at the 4-H District 10 food show of all the participants and their dishes that they created. And then that afternoon, I competed in the entomology ID contest, which is a test of different questions related to the insects that we are studying throughout the year. And then once you're done with your test, you get a sheet of, for intermediates, it was 27 ID questions related to insects. So we had to identify the common names and the orders of these insects. And then the next day, early in the morning, I had education presentation and public speaking. The difference between the two is that educational presentation is where you are allowed to have props such as cards and a slideshow, versus public speaking is where you're just standing in front of a classroom of people and giving a presentation about a persuasive topic. My topics were equine biosecurity for both of them. And then in the afternoon, me and my 2 other teammates, Kayla Garza and Brinley Stevens, competed in the equine quiz bowl for District 10. And I'm very proud of my girls as we all competed and they all answered multiple questions related to horses, and we walked away with the banners. And I'm very grateful for the Commissioners Court for supporting Wilson County 4-H. It's been a wonderful opportunity. This is my 5th year in 4-H and my 2nd year as a Wilson County Equine and Photography Ambassador. And for right now, I'm just preparing for equine skillathons and bee skillathons and horse and livestock judging for the spring at San Antonio, Austin, Houston, and San Angelo. Thank you.
Job well done.
Did you give us your name?
Brooke Walker.
Thank you very much.
And then the last thing we wanted to remind y'all about is our Christmas luncheon. This midday, we're starting about 11:30 at our classrooms over there by the. So, thank you.
Congratulations. Y'all, the whole thing, okay, y'all do that.
Mr. Demmer, do you have anyone? Agenda item number 6, we have Commissioner Precinct 1, Gary Martin, discuss take action to reappoint Rudy Cantu to the ESD number 2 Board of Commissioners, and Commissioner, I think he's sick and won't be here.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so, Commissioner Cantu has been on the ESD 2 board for quite some time. He's willing to continue his service, so therefore, I'll make the motion to reappoint Rudy Cantu to the ESD 2 board of commissioners. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Do we have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 6? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Move to agenda item number 7. We have Commissioner Precinct 4, Scott Aiken, discuss and take action upon the reappointment of Cindy Couch and Jeffrey Dugai to the Emergency Service District 3 Board of Commissioners for a 2-year term beginning January 1st, 2026.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioner Cordola and I reached out to District 3, and the board has been served by Mrs. Couch and Mr. Doogie for multiple terms, and they would like to continue sitting there. And so it's my recommendation that we vote to continue to let them serve on the board for the district.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Cordola. Have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 7? Are they here?
There are.
Okay, so we'll just get together a little later, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hearing no other discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Move to agenda item number 8. Commissioner Precinct 4, Scott Aiken, discuss take action upon reappointment of George Jones and Michael Trainer to the Emergency Service District 1 Board of Commissioners for a 2-year term beginning January 1st, 2026.
And this will sound exactly the same. Mr. Jones and Mr. Trainer have served multiple times, and they choose to take and reappoint. The district is recommending that, and I would like to recommend that we allow them to take another 2-year term on the board. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Caradola. Do we have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 8? Hear none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Move to agenda item number 9. We have Commissioner Precinct 2, Russell King, discuss only on health department for Logan County.
Yeah, so I brought this up because, we had something that was with the health department, and the past couple of months, we haven't had anything. We've had a third party out to another individual. But the reason I'm bringing it up for discussion only is because we need to see where the county needs to be, where we want it as a commissioner's board, where do we want to put the county. Judge and I actually got to sit down with the individual that's doing our third party, and he's, if it's food, health, the state can do it. But does the county want to continue? We even talked about dog bites with the sheriff's department and what we need to do with that. And we do have the no-kill shelter that we're involved with as well. So what do we want to do within the county whenever it comes to the health department? Once again, we don't have to have it.
No.
At the same time, the food health, talking to the individual that's doing our third party, it's a good thing, because if we do have something, he can be involved as well. And it's local, vice the state being involved. So, I brought it up to discussion. Where we all are on any of this.
Y'all think about it for the next couple of weeks, for the next meeting, we'll figure out what we want to do. If we don't need it, and the state takes care of it, why should we have it? Okay. Any other discussion? Anybody?
No, I mean, I agree. We have a service we need to provide. We don't have to, there's another option, that's less impact to taxpayers. It's certainly a viable option, but it does work, it does take care of what needs to be taken care of. I've looked at some other options, and I don't see anything better than the state personally right now, but we haven't done all the research on what we need to do.
The gentleman that's doing it now, is he going to continue doing it?
He said he'll continue as long as we want him to do it, but he says it's not necessary.
Okay.
And clarity on that, it's not necessary because it is a function that the state of Texas will provide.
That's correct.
State.
Any other discussion, Kevin? Hearing none, we'll move to agenda item number 10. Commissioner Precinct 2, Russell King, discuss and take action on the interlocal agreement with the Nueces River Authority to provide updated flood mapping for the western Nueces watershed of Wilson County.
Bruce, you can go up to the mic, we can discuss this. One thing before Bruce can talk about it, Devin and I, we went over this, and she's looked at everything. I think the only thing we found so far was just a hiccup with the judge's name. Other than that, this is a grant that they'll be doing research on for the Oasis River.
I do have a flyer.
Sure, Reno. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're-
Travis Brewski with the Oasis River Authority Chief Operations Officer. I'm also the Region 13 Regional Flood Planning Sponsor, which is the western half of Oasis County, Wilson County. It shows you on the back, it kind of shows you a map of what is in the basin. which is mostly in precinct 2, I believe. We are doing floodplain study for the whole Nueces Basin, which again, part of that Wilson County is, and one of the first things we noticed when we started this process is the outdated maps are basically no mapping of some of this area. And we applied for a grant with the Water Development Board for, it's about a $30 million project in total for the whole Nueces Basin. We received 75% grant, and then it's required 25% local match for the counties to choose, if they choose to participate. So your cost is about $53,000. It's spread out over 10 years if you would choose to. They gave us a 10-year loan on that local match, so it'd be a little over $5,000 a year, or you could do one payment of $53,000 on that. But what I would do is that portion of the map that you see on the back, we would map down to 6 inches and redo the whole floodplain where the 5-year, 10-year, 100-year, and 500-year floodplain is. Also included in this project, we are creating a Nueces regional flood warning, early warning system, which that portion of the county would also be included in that early warning process. And then we're also looking at the, you have 5 low water crossings in that region, and there's 2 what we consider high hazard dams. And those are private dams, but they hold back large amounts of water. And of course, for rain event, we want to do an inspection on those, so make sure that they are safe. Because if they hold back a lot of water, you want to make sure they don't break inside of a flood issue. So we would do an inspection of those 2 high hazard dams. So that's kind of a general of the whole project we're looking at. I'm happy to answer your questions.
So the ultimate goal is to remap for FEMA, and you get this approved, so the future gets remapped and change.
Correct, so we've already been awarded, we will start this project in this spring of 26. We will take about 18 months to do the project, and then you guys will be given those new maps, and y'all can approve them as the new maps, and then we will also then turn that into FEMA. FEMA takes about 8 years to go through the mapping approval process, but you don't have to wait for that. They'll meet all the qualifications for y'all to approve them as your new maps when we complete them in about 18 to 24 months.
We've brought this report before, because we talked about the grant and the money as well, right, that was on last year.
And then the Oasis Urban Authority is gonna be the official grantor, so we'll be doing all the paperwork with the state. The interlocal is y'all just be paying that match to the River Authority, because we're taking out the loan under our name and all that, so there's no additional paperwork or anything that the county is required to do. We handle all that, you're just paying your local match.
When would the local maps be here?
It starts this in 26, so if y'all decide y'all gonna make one payment, or if you wanna do the yearly 10-year payments, we will work out a payment. We have it right now scheduled for January of 26, but if we need to work on your budget or something, we can edit those dates.
And what she said was that we didn't put it in this current budget. I've got a question about, obviously, you're affecting 10% or less of Wilson County. Do you know the dates?
It's almost 15% of that kind of that western portion is in there.
Okay, I'm just looking at the.
Yes, it's about 15% or so.
It covers part of precinct 1 and precinct 2.
And I know Commissioner Pinkham has some issues. I have issues where the northern end of the Borrego crosses Highway 536, and 536. That's a very dangerous crossing at night, with no lights out there. That if it's similar to Kerrville incident where it rained in the night and that water comes up and somebody's driving down there and they're not paying attention, there's no crossings, there's no warnings other than road may flood. It can get pretty serious there. And all along, and that part of the Borrego, although it goes through a relatively unpopulated area, it's very dangerous.
Very highly popular traffic area.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic that's coming from Atascosa through there. I had to stop a FedEx truck when we were trying to, my dad told me to go down. I said, you can't go down there. I mean, well, my dad told me to, but you can't, you know, and it's hard to get back around because you gotta go all the way either back to 280 or 37 or back to Pleasant and come around another way. It's difficult to get around, so, I think this will lead to the same similar project we have going with the San Antonio River Authority, which is to identify these locations, high hazard locations particularly, and with eventually hoping to get, automatic gates or something, better warning and something to go in there that we can pay for on an appropriate time.
Yes. Now, I do have a vested interest. I do live out in that area, so I've been on 536 and 541 when it floods and you don't see it coming in the dark.
Ms. Yvonne, you read the interlocal agreement?
I have, and I looked at the plan, what the service, the county service will be receiving for the county, the proportional, benefit to the county compared to the other counties, and what we are paying appears to be reasonable. I did have some questions, and we did address them, so it's up to the, board what to proceed, because I do think it would, certainly benefit the county, and we want, it's been a while since this has been done, right?
Actually, most of this area has never actually been mapped. Part of the creeks have been, the most of your flood mapping is, kind of essentially, they don't map the whole area, they just map the rivers and then some of the larger creeks in there. So a lot of these other mapping is their assumption on FEMA. We want to actually get down and map the entire area. And that's creek and non-creek areas. Everything will be mapped down to 6 inches.
Have you talked to our emergency management coordinator, Mrs. Draper?
We had Russell and I had a chance to meet, we started this conversation, I guess, about June or so. We started having the conversation to let them know the benefits for EMS and everybody. And flood planning and lots of, there's a lot of growth coming out in that McCoy area as well. We met with the water district from McCoy, they're expecting a lot of growth on that portion of 97 is coming. So this will be very beneficial to the county and the citizens out there.
Bruski, this is on a 10-year plan, when would it have to start? We don't have it in the budget.
So what I would propose is, because I've had several conversations with Travis, which is, we weren't, I didn't know when the payment would be due. What I would propose though, since we're basically reimbursing, paying them because they're paying in full. And so I would recommend that, we consider doing a partial payment with money that's in our contingency and our reserve that is currently budgeted. I'd have to look to see if that would be, $5,000 or $10,000 for this budget year, and then we can budget either the remaining balance for October 1 of 26, or if we feel like we need to break it up in additional payments. I think I could definitely work something out with Travis and figure that out. I do believe that we do have money in the budget. I would recommend that we pay the full $53,000 up front, because you're correct, that's not budgeting, and that's a big chunk of money, but we could certainly take a piece of it in January.
That's acceptable. All the counties, we have 31 total counties, and there's a whole array of payments that are being negotiated out, so that's fine.
So, that payment should be about 5,000.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept this interlocal agreement with the Nueces River Authority to provide updated flood mapping for Western Nueces watershed, in Wilson County. And we make a payment for our contingency.
Our non-departmental reserve line.
State the amount.
Yeah,
and
it'd be
what fund.
$302.
$5,302.06.
Just taking the 22 cents up, 302.
It's 53,022, so $5,302.
And you'll send us an invoice, or I'll just send you an email.
So in the interlocal agreement, we can work on, there's a payment schedule, we can reword that, and we'll sign it, and we'll send you an invoice in 26 sometime.
Okay.
And then we'll figure out how that additional payment come next year.
Okay.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner King.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 10? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
move to agenda item number 11. We have Nikki Store, the librarian. Before then, we have a public comment by Mr. Roger Barkley. Barkley, you now have the floor.
Sure, thank you. And I'm not sure what all the issues are that I'm going to maybe address, but I came not from Livonia, so I just want to underscore the real importance of a public library. I'm finding myself at 78 years old, raising a 5-year-old, and like a lot of 5-year-olds, he's a delight, he's full of energy, and he does not like to read. And getting him to sit at the sofa while we're learning to read, or even reading to him sometimes is an issue. However, when I take him to the Little Livonia Library, it is a place of peace for him, and he sits, maybe plays some Legos or colors, but then he chooses a couple of books. And those books that he chooses from the library, we go home and read. And I think that we just have to, as people who care about the future, be sure that we are doing adequate funding and service for our libraries. When I was a child, I was raised in a very remote place, my dad was a fourth grader, and we had to run the library out of our garage, our family garage. But we did that, and people came, and because of that, there are people who grew up knowing how to read for the kids. And I hope that whatever the issues are here, I'm not sure if there are anything, that we just remember how important libraries are to all of us, especially our children.
Ms. Moore?
So, I'm not real sure how much information you want about the library. I mean, I can go all the way back to when we first started it. But the current update is that the building has been sold. We know that. We have not been given the eviction notice. You have 30 days to get out. We have not received that yet. So we are going to have to find another location for the Livonia Public Library.
So just to clarify, you haven't received it, but you're anticipating.
I'm anticipating it. The realtor for the party that bought the building, I'm sorry, I do not know who bought the building. She has reached out and said that they would like for us to stay, but they want to raise our rent to almost double. And I don't even make enough money to buy a toner.
So what's the current rate on the building?
$750 a month. When we started the library in 2016, we were paying $500 a month with about 500 square feet of the building. We shared the building with Livonia News. Then shortly before the 2020 COVID, the Livonia News reorganized and moved everybody to Stockdale, or everybody to Forestville, and they allowed us to take the whole building. It is only 1,200 square feet, and they asked us to go up to $750. So that is in our current budget, is to pay for the $750. So we have found a place. The family that owns Camden's Adventure Zone called me and said, I'm sorry, I get teary-eyed. She called on my birthday and said she wants to build us a building. But in order for us, we have to find a temporary location. So she has 2 rooms in Camden's Adventure Zone that we would fit into temporarily while another location is being built for us. So I'm here today with the lease agreement to go to Camden's. Is there any more questions I can answer?
Yeah, I've got a few. Ms. Huron, you got the revised one you looked at?
I did, but is this a temporary, because it's I see that it's a 5-year lease, so that's not temporary. So,
The owner is calling it temporary, whether or not, she hasn't decided if she wants to build on to Camden's Adventure Zone or build a whole new building for us. But I have a feeling from looking at it, this is just a standard form that they filled out.
but the location is temporary, or the lease would be within the building of whatever they build. I'm not really clear on
Yeah,
that.
because there's no early termination, it's a flat 5-year lease, there's no early termination, you pay or you can get out or notice or anything like that. But
I know she wants us to stay on the property. Pardon? I know she wants us to stay on her property, and she has like 38 some acres.
Okay, well, I think the lease just needs to be clarified, as far as the location of
750 I think it's only a 2%, 2 or 3% increase every year.
$22 a year.
Which isn't very much. It is maybe about an extra $20 a year. And that would be an increase on the base amount for those 5-year periods. So you know that it's not gonna stay at the 750 there, it's a yearly increase. There were also some concerns about us purchasing property, for the library, and if we leave, that property becomes the property of the library, the landlord, and, we can't really do that, so I believe that part was changed as well.
I think to clarify a little bit, Mrs. Shaner is gonna provide them a couple of rooms in the existing building that's there. And she said within a year, she would build them a new building. On the location, on the property, that would be exclusively for the Bernie Library.
And that's fine, it just, the contract just needs to say that, it's anticipated that, there will be an addition, that this, either the lease is gonna apply to the new, facility, or this is limited, then this lease should only be a year. And then we'll work out a new one with the building after that year. Whichever way you want to do it, you just need to make sure that you know what we're getting on, what we're committing to.
What is this? It looks like a template. It's-
I was gonna say, it looks like
what
a
it is,
standard
like a
form.
boilerplate template, okay, because it says quarterly tax and insurance, or we don't pay tax. There was, the old one did have some language in there that said if air condition broke or something like that, it was on us, like, how can that be?
I talked to Ms. Shummer, and she said that that's just pretty much standard, but as far as she was concerned with us, that the only thing we would need to worry about is if, say, for instance, somebody broke a window, that we would be responsible for replacing the window. We would not be responsible for any water issues, heating, air conditioning issues, because since we're inside Camden's, if they don't have air conditioning, they don't work.
Well, the lease needs to say that,
Okay.
because it does say that we would be responsible for any maintenance and repairs unless it's structural. Then they would take responsibility for any structural damage, but air conditioning, heating, plumbing, it says that the county would be responsible. So she might say it, but the document.
Needs to be clarified in the
That would be
contract.
additional cost to the county.
Was that not removed in this last go around?
Was.
I think, I asked her to remove it.
I'm not seeing it, so it must not be, because there's a list of what we agreed to, and then there's some stuff that's deleted, and then there's what we can't do. And it doesn't say what they're gonna do, anything about paying all the utilities, providing the utilities, repair the air conditioner. It says, just,
I thought it said that we would be responsible.
here, yeah, it does say.
It does.
This is the tenant agrees to obtain and pay for all utilities used by tenant and not provided by landlord. So, yeah, B1G, there is that one. Obtain the tenant's name, but obtain the tenant's name and pay for all electrical and internet used by the tenant. Okay, so they're gonna pay for the electricity. It'll be in our name, but they're gonna pay for it, so I don't know how we work that out. I think we need to just, yeah, we need to go through it. Because who cleans, but I guess we're gonna have this, is county staff go over there and clean up?
They currently do, but with the size of the 2 rooms that we have, the staff can do that. We're going to have to downsize to about 300 square feet worth of books. But what we're losing in the bookshelf range, we're gaining in people meeting rooms, because they're allowing us to use the large living room. They have 2,000 square feet upstairs that we can use for meetings. So what we're losing in the books, we're gaining in people space.
we have some work to do on this.
That's fine.
We'll, Ms. Huron, I'll get with you later, we'll go through this one more time.
Yes, I mean, I understand they took out the position of maintenance, but then it's gonna take that if something breaks down. So, probably need to fine tune that. That's
Yeah,
fine.
is it right now, it just says submitted writing to landlord, any request for repairs, replacements, and maintenance that is the obligations of landlord, but it never, no, it doesn't, you know, because it's not, it doesn't say what those things are. I mean, it's a heck of a deal, and I appreciate this folks.
We'll fine tune it. You still have, I mean, you still haven't got the 30-day notice to vacate.
I heard the rumor is that the closing for the building will be 10th,
The town.
December,
December 10th. And I adamantly turned down to stay because of the increase in the rent.
I can see it, but it probably be February 1st when they require us, which is 30 days from the, which are, if it's a month or it's a monthly, it's too late to notify us for December, so.
The lease release
So I'm
notice.
anticipating February 1st. Request for
If I have time to make the corrections because of the holiday and the staff taking vacation, may I ask permission to come back to Commissioners Court on the 22nd?
Yes, maybe we get this all lined out, absolutely. You have any?
I'm gonna have to dig through this.
Yeah. If you don't mind, if I could sit with you too, or just send you some of my questions regarding the utility payments. Because we have, currently we've got different accounts set up for utilities, for like all of our other county buildings, so I want to make sure we get clarification on how we're gonna do all of that, make sure that we get it done right.
How have we been doing that?
We don't, well, currently we pay the rent,
That's it.
and that's it at the library.
One
Because
time-
it's not our building, so we're not responsible, you know what I'm saying? So we pay the $750 a month to Victoria.
I have seen one electric bill from Phelps for that building, but I questioned it because I think the permit is GVEC based, not Phelps. And I've only seen that once in 10 years. So,
Yeah.
We pay our own internet. The basic agreement right now is the owners maintains the building and we maintain the contents and the staff.
Correct.
What is our current lease where we are? What does it state? Because you're saying that, are you certain that in that lease there's a 30-day?
The actual lease we have with the Koloji family expired in 2017 and was never renewed. And so we've just been going month
We're on a month-to-month.
to month, and the agreement was the 30 days on both parties.
Okay, Commissioners, can you table it or take no action on this until we get all these, things? When we table it, then we reassure that it's gonna be on the 22nd, if you want to,
Take no action just in case.
just in case we don't get it. Okay. All right, so we'll work.
May I ask that the staff still continue to do like a deep dive into the inventory to see what we might have to sell? We can't take it all with us. There's just no way it will fit in this.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that, then whatever your inventory is, because since that's county property, you have to ask the court permission to auction it off or sell it.
Do I have to wait to get the approval, or can I ask for two separate items next time? If we get the lease all worked out, can I ask for the lease approval and the request?
Yes, two different engine items, that'll be fine.
Before you sell stuff, I would try to get maybe some type of commitment from Mrs. Shaner, a time frame of when she's gonna build this new building, and what size she's talking about building.
They're ready for us to move in tomorrow, she said.
I'm sorry,
She's ready for us to move in tomorrow.
but I'm talking about the new building, getting a
Okay.
commitment on when she's talking about building this new building and what size of building she's talking about providing. Give you a little better idea of what type of space we're talking about.
I can do that.
Take no action, I'm going to move the agenda. Thank you, Ms. Ford, appreciate it. I'll get back with you.
Okay.
Move to agenda item number 12, we have Commissioner Precinct 1 Gary Martin discuss take action on upgrading PDF software.
Okay, I guess a few years ago, not too long ago, we switched out of the building and went to this box. And I was having a lot of trouble with it, and a couple other people I was talking trouble with it, but I think I've got my issue. They helped me resolve your issue. And I have nothing that's finally got resolved last week.
So, no action.
No action.
Agenda item number 13, Precinct 1 Gary Martin discuss take action on replacing the audio system for Commissioners Court. And I see that Mr. Causey is here to give us a report. Go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So where do we stand on this?
Okay, so I did forward a quote that we have from San Antonio Sinai to Rachel. I believe she dispersed it to your iPads. And it's for $71,449. That includes replacing all the mics, the cameras, the two cameras, also all the systems in the back, and all the receivers. It's replacing everything.
Mr. Vigno, we budgeted for this, but it looks like it went up a little bit because of the delay.
So we budgeted it for it last year, and I spoke with Jason, that we can still, I have not closed the books to finalize closing the books for fiscal year 25. And we still have that money, allocated and budgeted for. I just asked Jason, since the price did go up a little bit, I think it was 68 or 65,000, wasn't it?
Yes,
That we
ma'am.
originally
That's
approved?
correct.
And then I need to get the invoice turned around pretty quick. We'll be closing the books, this month, so, that's where we're at.
Well, his payment schedule says 50% down and 50% on completion. So there's ain't no way he's gonna have this all done.
He won't even order the equipment until after we.
Right, that's what I'm saying, the installation won't be complete probably.
That's correct. Now, we have used as, San Antonio lighting before, and so the question that will be before you, the court is, if we're gonna use the money that was budgeted last year, then we have to pay it in full upfront. If
I'm
we're
not
not,
doing that because the job's not complete, ready to be paid for, so we're ready to start.
and that's fine, I'm just letting you know what your options are, because that money, was allocated last fiscal year and not budgeted for this fiscal year, because we thought it was gonna be done last.
And how much was budgeted?
It wasn't, yeah, it was whatever you approved, it was
like
60 something
65,000.
thousand.
We had approved something, so I don't know if we will be approved.
No, you did
No, it
approve
was
it.
approved in the budget.
No, no, no. It was approved in court using the money that we had budgeted in building, repairs and upgrades. So the court approved, when Jason came to the court requesting the upgrade, you guys approved, whatever the amount was, 60-something thousand, and approved using the money that was budgeted in building upgrades for fiscal year 25.
Well, I mean, we can't pay for it all by the end of the year anyway, so, that seems to be, so we'll have to pay for it, just same as what we just talked about, the judge Rockman had, is we'll have to take it out of the non-departmental,
we're not gonna be able to take action on this till we find that out, correct?
I mean, you can authorize the payment, I know, let me just take a look at something real quick.
And also have the
We have budgeted in reserve $158,000. So you can take action by authorizing the payment to come from the reserve for unexpected expenses in whatever, $71,449.
Last year.
No, I mean, no, we can't mix years on buying something like that. Yeah, that's nothing that needs to be paid for all out of the same.
Well, I mean, Commissioner Perdola is not incorrect in asking that, because we haven't closed the books. If we want to pay the down payment, the 50% out of the budget that you approved for it last
I mean,
fiscal
it
year.
doesn't really matter because that's rolling that into a fund.
It does matter, Commissioner, because it matters when we close the books.
It's a budgeted expense from the previous
Correct.
budget that we approved.
Correct, so, that's actually a really good idea to pay the 50% out of the previous budget, and then we only have to use 35,000 or whatever from the current year's budget.
Okay, so
So I would recommend that you vote to approve the amount of $71,449 with the 50% deposit paid out of fiscal year 25's budget and the remaining balance out of fiscal year's 26 budget.
Yeah, we need to get this done, it's taking way too long. I'm sorry to get a phone call after every board meeting, when we're gonna fix it. So I'll make a motion to replace the audio system with San Antonio audio, video, lighting,
Sound like,
sound and light for the amount of $71,449.00, with the down payment being paid out of fiscal year 25 budget, and the remainder when it's due to be paid out of the FY 26 budget coming out of the reserve account fund.
need a second? Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any other discussion regarding agenda item number 13?
Jason, I'll just need the invoice prior to the next commissioner's court,
yes, ma'am.
prior to December 22nd for the 50% amount.
I'll make sure you do it.
Thank you.
Judge, I guess I need to amend that motion to allow you to sign the contract.
You want to just add that on to the end?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I'm gonna amend my motion. You're good with that?
I'm good with it.
Did you all get that one?
Okay. Any other discussion? There none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Agenda item number 14, Commissioner Precinct 1, Gary Martin, discuss and take action on Commissioner's Court agenda package and delivery.
Okay, so the whole reason we were having these packages prepared for us was so that we could take a moment for me to whatever. So this iPad thing is not working for me. So that's what I want to talk about. I don't know what everybody else wants. I think we all want to see a complete compilation of the entire package of what comes through court, so we have it readily available to us. I don't think any of us are too, not to having that in a PDF or something, but we get documents brought to court, things that are added and all that. So that's part of the discussion. So what is it that we want, and then how do we want it? Do we want to go back to paper? I mean, if I'm gonna continue to use this, the only place it's good is in my office. I need a hotspot to do with it. And I think probably some others are in the same boat. I think Commissioner Aiken has a hotspot at his office that he can take with him. I don't know if you can take it with him or your camera.
It's not mobile, it's buried in the filing cabinet.
I wasn't able to get the agenda until this morning when I got here.
Okay, so let's have a little discussion on that. I think what we're trying to do, or what we're trying to do is save on the time and the money on the paperwork that goes into making those binders. So I did a little research, found out y'all didn't have those prior to me coming on. I think they brought the documents to you on the day of court.
Well, no, that's not 100% true.
Well, if it's not 100, there's a little bit of that truth, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that true in that, yeah, because I'm here and I office in the court. Rachel would tell me when the book's ready and I could go get mine and I could take it home and study it at my leisure. The issue comes from that Commissioner Aiken and Commissioner Perdola don't have offices over here, they're not around here. They don't work on Fridays, because they do 410s, so they need their stuff available like sometime during the day or Thursday. And that's part of the delivery, that's part of this, is when it all needs to be ready. So, and I mean, like I said, I have no problem using electronic means, but it's gotta be complete where we can go to one location. Because what we were able to do before was take that package, anything we got for it, we added to it, we kept it, and we go back and move on and refer to it if we can. This is a little more difficult. I have to be in my office right now if I want to look something up. So,
Are you all getting it through email too? My understanding is Rachel.
well, I mean, if I'd had an option, I would have probably picked the laptop, because I don't have a laptop, so I can take it with me, so I can see an email at least at some kind of size other than trying to look at it on the phone. Yeah, I mean, I wish we had talked about before we spent money, because actually our laptop's cheaper than these things, right?
No, they're not very
Not right
expensive.
now.
No, they're not very expensive. As a matter of fact, we were talking about an issue the other day about who's paying for paper, and my office pays for those binders to be made, and there's a ton of people who come in, especially from permitting. And my assistant is pulling her hair out at the very end because we're getting things in at the very last minute. She's having to make hundreds of copies, and it's coming out of my budget. So let me see, I know Commissioner Moore is very good when he would come up and pick up his binder. Did you ever pick up your binder? You picked up the day before?
Oh, yes, but here's the caveat. We were getting everything emailed to us ahead of the court where I could research it without having the physical binder in front of me. And so the reason that that's important is, and one of the things that he hasn't brought up yet, we're now getting this on a Tuesday. Okay, we're set because of the change in law. We have ample time for it to be done, and the question that arises is, if you're putting it on here and you want it to be on the agenda, shouldn't all of the supporting documentation be prepared at or before the same time that the agenda is put in place, so that we have plenty of time to review it? And that is, I think, what is at issue. Our librarian will tell you that she sent out to each of us an individual email, this is what's going on, and I want you to discuss it, and I expressed to her my feelings. First thing is, get your lease to the county attorney ASAP. Second thing is, get it to the commissioners individually ASAP, so that we can review it, because we've made it clear in court, we're not gonna approve something that we see whenever it comes to us in court. At least I'm not going to, because I wanna be able to study what's going on. It's still a transition, like right now, all of y'all were able to take and pull up the lease contract. I read it earlier. I read it last week. I can't find it right now on the iPad. And I'm not sure why I can't. But that is the thing about electronic versus paper. The paper's not gonna disappear in front of your eyes.
I don't have any problems if y'all wanna go back to the old way, but y'all are gonna have to share in the expense of my copy.
And I would think that that would be,
Extreme amount. Remember, we were talking about this subject just the last couple of meetings ago, about who's gonna use this, who's gonna use that, it should be shared by this, it should. I'm in the same boat, because Rachel's ordering reams of paper all the time, and and also I need to know that everybody that submits something for the agenda, do it in a timely manner.
sure.
Don't do it on the 11th hour, and she'll be pulling her hair out crazy.
Well, and I mean, one of my questions was to ask the county clerk's office to revise their little agenda request form to update, because now it's agenda items are now due by Monday, no later than noon. And so they put on there, you need to attach, you know, whatever, and that's gotta be attached with it. And, certain things Rachel needs to be copied on, and that's where some of the confusion, because I don't want us to get into an issue about too many emails all to the commissioner's court and create issues from that standpoint. So it needs to go to one location, whatever that is, whether it's Rachel or the clerk's office, and they work together or whatever. I think we need to, we may have some input on that. I don't know what's the best way, so we avoid any.
Yeah, and
issues or
sometimes that
anything.
gets to be complicated, Commissioner, because they'll either send it, I know that we're
Right.
trying to work with the clerk's office, it goes to the clerks, and it did get to Rachel, and maybe
Right.
we need to sit down with the clerk's office and figure out what's best for that. Commissioners, I'll do whatever makes it easier for you. If it's, you wanna go back to the old way, that's fine, these will be repurposed or something.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem, and I don't mind paying for it, because this all goes back to, you know, whatever it was a year ago. We had an assistant, and that didn't work out. And I just don't think we have the right person that did that. We didn't budget for somebody to be there to do it. So I guess we need to either muddle through it or think about if we want to either have a part-time person come in and do that for us, because, I mean, this part of it, you know, for what, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you know, every other week, second and fourth week, that's 6 days worth of work for this person to get that stuff together, to get copied in a PDF format or whatever it is. I don't know if we can find anybody that will work a little bit, and maybe they, you know, I don't know, I mean,
We have some part-timers we can look at.
yeah, I mean, and if we do, then maybe that's the answer. And wherever they work, I mean, I got no problems supporting that, buying paper, whatever needs to come out of my office supply budget, you know, and I agree. I mean, we've assigned all of these different responsibilities to their different departments, so they expect to be paid for it. So it's not fair probably to you to absorb all of that cost. And it's especially, I don't know if you got enough budget to make it through this year or not.
I think we're good, Commissioner, we can make it through, and it's not that much, but I get with you later when we start doing this budgeting to figure out what we need to increase. It's a lot of paper, we go through a lot of paper.
Is it, excuse me, but is it the, internet access? That you don't have access outside of service, and so you're not able to download? You're not, so can't all these documents be downloaded, instead of copying 5 notebooks, can't you just download everything onto 5 iPads?
That's what we're trying to do.
That's what we're trying to do. Jason, can I borrow you for a second?
Yes, sir.
What do you- Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, these are downloaded by Rachel, and any correction she can make on there, between the time we go to court, as long as they've got internet access, it recorrects itself in a notebook, am I correct?
That is correct. And, Commissioner, just to go back to your point, you can certainly use it on a laptop. You can actually get to it anywhere you have internet connection. So if you would like, you can go to your office or your home and set it up for you there. If it's the actual interface, if you're having issues, I'm not sure where the issue is live, but Commissioner Hackey, you mentioned it disappeared on you. We could work out a different drive UI. We could go with Dropbox or Microsoft.
Well, but see, Dropbox is just another thing to go wrong to me, in my opinion.
No, that's correct, but it's whatever you're more familiar with, whatever you're more comfortable with.
I'm gonna learn one thing at one time.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm almost 70 years old, I can still learn.
I wanted
I'm
to
getting
learn
tired
for
of
you,
learning
though.
this.
I'm going to change.
Jason, can we, I didn't know that they did, not all of them have hotspots, but the hotspots are $30 a month. So can we
That's
get
correct.
them hotspots?
Yes,
So that
ma'am.
they have that, and they can keep it in their truck, and it's a little box, and you can just keep it with you, and you can have
Absolutely.
access whenever you want internet access.
So, for a commissioner, like Commissioner Martin said, he would rather have a laptop, is there any way we could trade that out and get him a bigger laptop?
I mean, I
Yes,
wanna
sir.
know what the numbers are, because I'm gonna wind up paying.
Okay.
But, I mean, this will work if we can but the thing, can this get email? Can you set this up where we can do email on it?
Yes, sir, we can set that up. I was doing some tests with Commissioner Hackett, and they were successful. I was able to get some text messages. We can
Get email on-
reconfigure these to meet whatever needs or want you would like.
Yeah, if we can get email on here, that makes it where we can start email after
Because
hours.
we're still gonna get email to our phones, correct?
Yes, you'll still get email to your phone, but if you need to go look at a document or something instead of trying to, look
What's
at
the
that.
bandwidth on these? Could we accidentally overload these things? It doesn't have capacity?
I would say the only limiting factor on these particular devices would be the hard drives. They're only 125 gig, right? 128 gigs.
I have a problem.
But you're not really going to download a lot. I don't see you guys doing that. You may,
Because this is not downloading to the machine, it's just we have access to a file.
that is correct.
It's on the server, correct?
And we can give you that access through the machine.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because the way she did it today, where you have each number, excuse me, numbered and itemized, it's looking better. And that way we can go and look, if there's something there, there's something there, if there's not, then there doesn't.
You guys are good.
With the, getting a hotspot and moving forward, because like these two commissioners over here are working 410s, so they don't have to go back and forth, and being away from the courthouse in their areas. If this works out, as long as you can get email, you can make it user-friendly, is I think the biggest challenge that we're gonna have on this.
A little bit of clarity about the 14s. So I walked into, and I agree with the scheduling of my office, which is our crew works 14s. And that's not just me. I spent the majority of my time Friday in Floresville, dealing with things in the county. And I'd like to make sure that we keep going back to that. This schedule saves Wilson County money. And if anybody wants to sit down and visit with me about why the men that I have in my precinct are working 410s versus why that's the best schedule and such, and I'll be happy to explain it. But I want to make that clear because Commissioner Perdola, I keep hearing that. We both walked into the schedule that's there, but I do agree with the schedule. And just because the crew stopped working, I don't, and he doesn't.
And I didn't mean that.
No, but I want to make sure.
It's your day off, but you take care of whatever you need to do, and that's wonderful. That's great. This is like we all do after 5 o'clock on Saturday and on Sunday, so.
And absolutely, the public may take it differently because it's being said at the court, and I want the public to understand.
But yeah, if this thing was more user-friendly for the commissioners, I think, like, talking about getting the email or getting whatever drive that they need on, I think that would definitely help with Commissioner Martin's talk.
I think my truck is capable of having internet connection on it or a hotspot, I think.
You'd have to pay for that service.
Right. But I mean, it would be, because I work 90% of my time on my truck.
Well,
We probably want the
you
county
can talk to him
VPN
and
to
figure it out, but it's gonna come out of your budget.
Yeah, I mean, I'm paying for it anyway, so. And I have a laptop, but this is much easier for me to carry around in the truck than my laptop.
Yeah, because I mean, I agree with you. If we can get email on here so that when we're out driving around, that we see an email that comes through this kind of attachment, that's what really kills us fun. You know, it's great to go, okay, I got an email from Tom. Okay, I'll take it tomorrow when I go to the office. But this kind of attachment or even approval, it's just like the bill approval, you get those. Sometimes we get them Wednesday, sometimes we're not till late Thursday, and they may not be able to get to it until Friday. So having that flexibility to get it where it's convenient for us, is kind of important, so that we can look to it without trying to look at it all on the phone.
It's a lot easier looking
This
at
is
it
better
than
than the
it is on
phone,
the
it's not
phone.
quite as good as the laptop, which is not quite as good as the big one.
And Commissioner Martin, well, I'm gonna ask Commissioner Martin what your recommendation is.
Well, I think, based upon what we said so far, we'll do this, and I guess they can get with us to see if what we need, and I think generally you understand, we all want email access.
Yes, sir.
And that, I mean, you need to address Commissioner Aiken's issue that he can't, that didn't pop back up.
I don't mean it can just be a glitch, but I know that I looked at the contract last week, trying to find it here today, it just goes there. And also, Rachel was kind enough to, in the last time that the packet was submitted, she put in our budget, she also put in our court decorum rules to where y'all can access them on this pad as well.
Yeah, so I think that's the two big things. And you just come through and talk to each one of us and see what it is we need. You know, I think generally everybody wants the email access. I don't know what other options there are that we might use or need that might come. Because we're not using it like you would a desktop or a laptop. We're not trying to store stuff. We just need access, really just need
So
access.
email and mobile connectivity, are the two things.
I can say this, the attachments on my phone in dealing with the court minutes, they will not take and completely come up. Remember, I went to the iPad, there they were, was able to review, which will be a later topic.
No one actually get it done.
Well, no, I think we can just instruct him to proceed as we discussed.
Yeah, but you have an action item.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The action item is in the procedure. We just finished our discussion. He's to contact us each individually and see what it is that we need. And then
Is that a motion?
I will make, yes, does that suit everybody's need?
That works.
Okay, and I'll make a motion to direct the IT director, Mr. Quasi, to take each commissioner to determine their needs for the court agenda package, iPad use, complete that as necessary with the respective costs utilized with each commissioner.
Okay.
That was long-winded, but I think we covered it all.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Sheen. Have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 14?
Before we leave that motion, so y'all can update the agenda request sheet. We don't need to ask you to do that. I don't think like those. If you're that, you can have a motion.
We don't have an agenda item in our budget. Maybe.
Do you have any questions? No, sir, I'm good.
All right, we have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 14? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it, the motion passes. Agenda item number 15, Commissioner Precinct 1, Gary Martin, discuss take action to approve the auction of Precinct 1, 2017 one-half pickup truck with gov deals and deposit proceeds in the Precinct 1 account.
Okay, I got a new pickup, and so I have, that one is surplus, and so advertising for sale on gov deals, and the proceeds will be deposited in the reserve fund, I guess reserve accounts, the place to go, right?
You have a line item for revenue for assets sold, and that's where it would go to your precinct.
Just to confirm, is the motion, sir?
Yes.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Martin. Have a second? Second. Seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any discussion regarding agenda item number 15? Hear none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. We move to agenda item number 16. Discuss and take action appointing Travis Persky to the South Texas Regional Water Plan. Mr. Persky, still here, right? Hey, come on.
Let's go over the question.
Do you have a document that you brought with you that we can put into
So
record?
you've already made the nomination, we just wanted to see if the court would be happy to ratify that nomination.
If you waive the 53,000 that you asked for, we'll.
Unfortunately, those are different groups, so I don't think I can do that.
No problem.
I'll just speak briefly on it. In Travis Cruise with the Oasis River Authority, Judge Jackson and the commissioners appointed me 6 years ago to the Regional Water Planning Group, who looks at basically studying our water issues we have, which we do have a lot of, and I love to represent Wilson County and all counties moving forward on this project again.
All right, Commissioners, will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to appoint Travis Brisky for the South Texas Regional Water Planning Team.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Keaton, seconded by Commissioner Morton. Is there any other discussion regarding agenda item number 16?
And this is just surface, is it surface water or surface?
This is all water, so we look at, water usage and all water projects. So we don't develop them, what we do is we gather all the information so that all of the groups hopefully can make the best decision moving forward.
What region is it? That has a region.
So it's called Region L, and it goes from Uvalde all the way through San Antonio up to Kyle, and then down to Refugio County is it's kind of an L-shaped, group, and that's the water planning group that you guys are currently in.
And right now, it's a big topic.
Yes, it's been a topic for a while. We've been, yes, water is an issue. Our job is to calculate population demand, hopefully look at the yield of what's available, and then we gather all the projects available, and we're basically a resource so everyone can see what's going on in the region, and our job is to gather as much information as possible. We don't make decisions on what projects happen, but our job is to gather that information so that everyone has it available for them. It's a pretty tedious, long process. It's a 6-year planning process, and yes, water supply is a grave concern of ours. I've been here at the court before on our East South project that the Waste River is always working on because we've got water issues. We're denying it.
Question, do y'all put out a monthly report or?
So it's a 6-year project, so we just completed our study. We did that in September. Now it's rolled into the state water plan. We meet quarterly up in San Antonio at the San Antonio Water Systems building where we meet, but our website is all new information for that. I can share that with the court. I can get that to the judge and he can share with everybody. It's massive. The program our plan we just built, I believe it was like about 5,000 pages. It details every county, every water supply, population, all the really gets into it. Again, we don't make the decisions, we gather all the information. Hopefully decision makers make the best decisions.
Any other discussion on agenda item number 16? If none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Agenda item number 17, we have Ms. Brenda Davina, our county auditor, discussion only, presentation by Lindsay Thorne with update to emergency courthouse repairs. Thorne, are you in?
Sorry, great, move back.
Say that for what I-
Morning, Commissioners, Judge.
Mr. Thorne,
There you go, Ms. Thorne.
How are you?
Always like hearing your good South Texas accent.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's this year I'll be here 30 years, I've actually lived here about 6 years more than I've lived back in Wales. This is home for me. You brought my hat today.
I'm sure they make fun of you when you go back to your
I
home
mean,
place.
they go back home and they say, God, you really sound American. I said, "Yeah, that's funny." They say exactly the same thing when I'm back home in Texas.
Okay, sir, you may proceed.
Great place. Okay, so I just brought this a little update. I've been talking with the Texas Star Commission, working with them for 20 plus years, Susan Gattich. They've been a little bit busy, I think, for the last couple of months. So trying to get some information back from them has been a little bit difficult. But we touch base. They're quite exhaustive, even for emergency management funding. They have quite an exhaustive requirement package. And where we're at currently is we don't have bids on the budget yet because we haven't got, everything ready to go to bid yet. So it's sort of a bit of a cart full horse type of thing. But we spoke and we were trying to see if we could get something in for the December meeting, but they just didn't get back to me in time to send me the information. So I think it's probably going to be early spring when we look at getting the monies. I explained what went on. Susan's very familiar with the building we worked for 13 years ago.
I'm sorry to interrupt, I just wanted to give the court just a quick update. What he's referring to is, so if you remember, we did submit the application for emergency funding. At first, they had told us that we had missed the deadline for their October for their July meeting. So they then sent us an email and said, hey, we will allow you to submit for our October meeting. So we got together, we filled out the application, we sent it in. Well, then they responded to us, I don't know, probably a month, probably in November, I think it was, that they needed additional information, and so it wasn't going to make their December round of approval for emergency funding. So then I got back with Lindsay and said, look, this is all French to me, so I need you to work with them, and that's what he's explained to you now where the update is. So hopefully we'll be able to catch their spring meeting and request the emergency funding for it.
Thanks, Brenda.
You're welcome.
You covered the spot today, great. Yeah, so I explained what's going on, and what we almost know is the cause of the problem. I contacted a couple of our materials testing folks to get their opinion, and they agree with me that basically we have 3 bathtubs on the top of each of these porticos. And with just general wear and tear and leaves collecting, general maintenance, it's got over the years, the bathtubs are filled up, moisture's got into the back of all of the corner screw temperature, and it's just gradually just create the spalling of the masonry work. So what I have in front of you is a little 3D rendering of what we're doing. The porticos are original to the building anyway. So what we've been doing is hopefully we can take off the roof to it and keep the columns. The columns seem pretty intact, pretty solid. I think they have a central core and they've just been plastered around. But we're looking at one, if you look at this 3D rendering page over, what we're advocating doing is taking off the balustrade, where it doesn't do anything, doesn't gain anything, I don't think aesthetically or certainly functional wise, and then creating a very shallow shed roof over the top. We built back the roof arrangement with all of the decorative frieze work. It's currently there to match exactly what we have. We're doing a much lighter format with materials that are going to decay over time. So that's sort of what we're planning. We'll obviously run that by the THC, Texas Rock Commission as well. But I don't have a problem. Worst case scenario is we've got to get stone made to match what we have, which is obviously a lot more expensive, it's a lot heavier. But they're going to probably have to determine that, and that may be part of the emergency management money. So I've explained the county have done a great job of securing it, it's safe to walk under. And as soon as we can get that information from them, we'll just proceed with the drawings and details so we can present it to them. Again, we have a long history of working with the THC, so they know that we're doing it for the right reason, not trying to cut corners or anything.
When will we know about that other funding comes through? I mean, you don't keep up with that at THC, do you?
So I spoke to Susan last week, and the last deadline was December 1, and she called me back on December 2. It's like,
And so,
okay.
Judge, if you remember, they have out-of-cycle funding for emergency, and then they have their once-a-year in-cycle funding, which is statewide. So what we're hoping to get into is the emergency funding, because that is not competitive. That's on as needed versus in-cycle is competitive. So we're trying to, and they only do that every quarter. So if we can get into their spring quarter for emergency out-of-cycle funding, that's what we're hoping for. Been trying to do that for the last 2 quarters, but.
And I've explained, pretty important elements. These are safety issues. We have it temporarily shored up currently, but it pretty much affects the ingress and egress from the building. We need to get it fixed. So I think you agree with me that it's a pretty positive feedback we're going to receive.
Yeah, those temporary platforms, they're temporary.
Right.
They're not gonna last forever either.
Exactly.
So what you're basically proposing is to, basically closing what would be, some might consider a balcony. So the new roof will be over the
No,
top.
I would actually take off that balustrade, and so the balustrade sits sort of on the roof itself with the temperature around the roof. You just take the balustrade off, take that roof section off, with just all the masonry is decayed on the inside, and then just rebuild that roof as it looks today, but without the balustrade. And so any water that lands on top will just shed off, rather than being just collecting that vessel.
So there'll be a break, as small.
A little bit raised roof, yes. And we'll probably end up putting on we'll either do a metal roof or we may even do looks like a rubber roof on it as well. That looks like a pylon type deal that we use quite a lot of TPO. It lasts a long time, it's flexible, it's pretty hardy detail-wise, so we'll look at that. But we'll need to work with them on that because if we're using their money, they may have the need to have the input on that.
Any more questions? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Sorry to make you wait.
No, thanks for the time.
Move to agenda item number 18, discuss take action on approving Wilson County Commissioners to pay overtime for the personnel to assist with the San Antonio River Authority waste collection drives. This event occurs annually in Wilson County. I don't know what those specific days are, but just to keep in compliance. And by the way, this is a very good program, and I'm glad the commissioners participate in this and their personnel, because otherwise they've been cleaning up all that stuff on their back roads. So we'd like to see this continue with the approval of the court.
I'm not sure that we need approval, because our agreement with Sarah is that we will provide this assistance as part of the program. Whatever you think you want. But also, it's semi-annual, it's twice a year. And in addition, with it out at the Expo Center, we only had 2 people that are kind of directing traffic. And it's great that ESD volunteers to do that, but I think we need a little more help there. And then also, since they collect pharmaceuticals, we have to have a deputy there. They're requiring a deputy there, so that deputy should be included in that pay as well. But here's the problem, is this thing has evolved over many years. It used to be a grant. Now I think Sarah's paying for it out of her pocket. And we're agreeing to do these things. We don't have a written agreement. I wrote a written agreement that spells out exactly who's responsible for what. Because they get these different things. And like, for whatever reason, this last weekend, it was really busy, so 2 people directed traffic really wasn't enough. Not this last weekend, the last time.
Yeah.
And then the other issue was we had so many people, those guys wound up being there, well, what, till 2:30, something like that?
1:45.
Yeah, 1:45, so, because people got mad because we shut it off at 11, because it was taking people an hour to get through line. So we need to have a debrief with Sarah. And I don't know who's really responsible for coordinating this event, but that's kind of been lost in the weeds over the last couple of years.
We didn't shut it off at 11, we discussed it with Sarah, and they go, we want to go till 12. And that's what led, a lot of things are going on with that facility, and so, the new construction, like with all construction, there's gonna be growing pains because the exposition center is having work done. We couldn't loop around the building, and that caused a lot of this issue. And it's important to me because I'm sponsoring it next time. Precinct 4 is gonna be in the league, and if we have the same construction, then we need to plan accordingly. And I think biannual is what we're looking for. They help us twice, or sponsor it twice a year.
Should we have a written agreement with them?
You probably should, if they're going to be having these collection drives, and there's some issues as to timing and where and what dates and what staff.
We have no control over the vendors that they bring in to help with the other part of the collection.
And
We
then
do
it's part
tires.
of the agreement that the county is not responsible and is not involved with whatever vendors, just so there's some liability issues, so probably should.
That's the thing, there's no separation of liability.
Well, and I have a question, Mr. Hunt. So, and I love this program. I hope it continues for a long time because it helps the commissioners out tremendously. What happens if one of them, when they're loading something, one of our employees gets hurt? They're under
They're under
county, they would be on the county clock, right?
That's correct, and today you're approving that they're paid overtime for that, which you should approve the overtime. But then it becomes a county approved event, and so they're basically on duty, so.
Yeah, and I want to protect them because they do a good service.
And the agreement should probably some identification of who's responsible as well.
Well, because I know, and we're all trying to work together to help, but I'm concerned sometimes because, you know, somebody comes up with look, all I got is tires, all I got is a can of paint, so our guy takes it and walks over there. But I don't know if he should really he should do that or should make that guy walk over there, you know, some of those, I know that seems petty, but I mean, if he gets hurt or he gets exposed to something that he shouldn't have been exposed to because he was on task, we just need to know how to direct our people to do that. Because some people do bring, you know, 'cause they take pretty much their household, so but they're still dangerous. They've got an eye full of fumes or a mouth full of fumes or something that they shouldn't, and they might get sick. Yeah.
Well, my other concern about that is because of the overtime, that's a Department of Labor issue, am I correct? I mean, we need to make sure we're in line with that. HR, am I correct?
You are correct, yes, and workers' comp would apply as well.
Okay, all right, I just want to protect them.
I do comp time for my guys, and I talked to them this morning, I said they just assume that comp time, and I do for more, so.
As a department head,
Take care of them.
as a department head, you have a right to do that. So,
And while we're talking about it, I asked for help from the sheriff's department. We had traffic backed up both directions on Highway 97. There were some near misses where we almost had some bad accidents. And I was told that they didn't have enough deputies on duty to come and help us. So it was quite a mess. This was probably the biggest event we've ever had. They closed the gates at 12, and the gentleman from Sarah decided there were still people out on 97. And they were honking the horns and raising the cane because they'd already been sitting on the highway for over an hour. So
Yeah.
he opened the gates and let them in. And I created, I think, 3 more lanes to get people off the highway. But
this thing's getting bigger and bigger every year, which is good. It's a success. So we probably need to get with Sarah, maybe Mr. Godlitz, and find out how we extend those hours or whatever. But I'd hate to turn people away because some of them will get mad, drive down the road and go to one of these precincts and throw everything out on the side of the road.
So I think we had that last time we had that event, because we did turn a couple of guys away that had appeared or had signs on the side of their truck that said Joe's Tire Services, like, you know, you can't leave those here. And then I believe one of them did wind up in my precinct.
Yeah.
But if we need an agreement, I'd like to pursue, this event won't be for another 6 months. I'd like to get that, because I think, if I understand this sure I'm right, that once we have that agreement and it's set up and it's county responsible, and we don't really need to do this, because then it'll all be spelled out in there, and that's fine.
And I would strongly suggest getting with the sheriff ahead of time to let him know that if we have another event like we did this time, we definitely.
Well, I mean, that's why we need to have a debrief after these events with them and figure out what we need to be doing. It sounds like and obviously this time, we could have used an off-duty deputy to come in and direct traffic, just like he had supervisor come in, so he's salaried.
I'm speaking out on 97.
Right, I know, that's what I'm talking about out there, but.
And then people helping us in the.
Right, but then the guy that was working inside is salary, so he was assigned to work, so he's covered, because he's salary.
Right.
But we also have constables that can come out and help people. We do, they have the trucks, they have everything they need. So if we can't get a deputy, it'd be good to ask a constable to come out.
Yeah, but we just need to know who we're gonna ask for, what we're gonna set up. But, yeah, because I think part of the problem last time was that they were concerned because the line was real long going back towards Floresville, so they were letting everybody turn there. So then they go, oh, look, everybody's stacked up going this way. And people were slowing down, and they were driving like they used to begin with anyway. But we need professional traffic directors, I think, out there.
Yes.
Because it's certainly easier to say, hey, you know, we're done, you can go home, than to try to call and get somebody at the last minute or saying, hey, we're having a big problem, and, you know, by the time they get there, the problem's gone, so.
We still have a little bit of time. I don't think it'll be 6 months if they decide
Well,
to have
March
it.
or April.
If they decide to have it in March or April, like this year, it was a little bit later. And so we saw the benefit of it being a lot cooler than what it had been before. Anybody have a different site in mind that we could use?
The only other option is to go out to the collection facility, but then you have the same problem of kind of one lane in and one lane
It
out.
would be one lane in, one lane out, and it'd be very restricted
Too
out
much
there.
traffic.
I can tell you,
1922.
I can tell you this, back when they did it at the precinct yards, it was a disaster.
So no,
And if we had people like we had at this event,
there's not enough room for any of our yards to be able to tolerate that.
this is this so far has been the best by far spot in the location. Everybody knows where it is, easy access, just have to be here, we've got construction going on. And then some other things going on there as well.
That construction will go until July.
Yeah, we know we have at least one more.
One more entrance,
Mr. Young, you're still thinking we need to go ahead and approve that?
I do, probably, yes, you do. Those reasons you're looking at, expending additional overtime funds for people.
I'll
This
entertain-
isn't a volunteer. It's a requirement.
Well, it's a requirement that they participate.
I asked my guys if they're available, so it's,
Yeah, mine is gonna be.
Okay, well, I mean, every department can handle it the way it is, but, if you're going to, if some departments are gonna make it volunteer to participate, and then you wanna offer them the overtime, then yes, you can do that.
Mine is mandatory.
So the answer is yes.
Yes,
Exactly. We're sponsoring the next one, and we will ask for every single employee to be there. At times past, we've had all the employees there, and it was because I gave them the option to be able to have overtime and or comp time.
Okay.
You know, we're always grateful, but last year, they had it on the opening day of deer season, and that is, for South Texas, something that means a lot to a lot of different people, and they have family outings planned, so I didn't have as many people for that.
And that's okay, you can do that, but it's not just a county event where you're saying, I need to volunteer. You've also, I mean, you've got a county-wide public event
Sure.
where you're bringing in an outside agency to assist with that event, and then you're asking your employees or requiring your employees to participate and then paying them overtime. So,
We would not be able to put it on internally, there's no way. What gets accomplished with Sarah, we could not do as a county owner.
No, it's, and I mean, it's just, I think everybody said, but it's such a benefit to the county, because it really does help minimize the amount of stuff, at least from people inside this county, really. Because right now, I've got one that's coming in from outside the county.
Well, again, I want to say that it is tremendous service we need to continue moving it.
Judge, can I suggest that if we need an agreement, let's get the agreement, and when we get the agreement, then we'll know what we need to do. Following that, and then, I mean, this is great, and if we need to do it, we can do it, but I'd rather make sure we make it clear, because part of the problem today is that this wasn't memorialized in the past. So we don't all really know what the rules are, who's supposed to do what,
Right.
and who's responsible for what, and, you know, so we need to figure that out.
Okay, so we just take no.
Yes, there is a coordinator with Sarah, I need to.
no, the county.
Oh, with the,
Sarah
well, we
County.
have had a person in the county that has coordinated this in
Eric?
the past, but they're not doing it currently.
You talking about Derek Godwin?
No.
No.
I'm talking about Cindy. That
Right,
was-
so-
That was one of the emergency management duties, was to coordinate this, and it's just disappeared.
Let's, take no action on that until we get an agreement with Sarah. Agenda item number 19, discuss and take action on approving and allowing Wilson County employees to volunteer on duty with the approval of their elected official in assisting the San Antonio Food Bank drives in Wilson County. Dates are set by the San Antonio Food Bank. Again, we don't know when those come. We just had one recently. There was a lot of fear going on about some of our citizens not getting their SNAP benefits and kind of went into a tailspin. We got together with Food Bank, or they called us and said, yes, let's have one. And so my understanding, it's up to each individual elected official that if they want to send their personnel while on duty to go help for a couple hours and then go back to their duty station without affecting any services to the community, I think that's part of our obligation, helping our citizens in our county, especially when it comes to feeding people who are hungry. And we feed a lot of people in this county through our local food bank, not counting the other ones, because I think Stockdale has one and Lavernia does. And there's a lot of folks that are hurting out here right now. Southern Springs, that they're hurting. And as long as it doesn't affect any of the services, I think it's a noble thing for us to also be helpful to our community and our citizens who are in need, especially when they're hungry. And we were hitting the holiday time. So this last event, there were over 270 cars that came in, families. Some of them had 2 families per car, so we fed a lot of folks, and we assisted with that. So if there's no need for us to make that approval, we can continue, because my understanding is it's up to us individual elected officials that if we want to send someone there to help out, that's up to us. We have that ability to give them that administrative time to do that. So that's, I mean, I have it down for an action, but if you think otherwise, I want to hear what y'all got to say.
I'm just concerned about the people, the departments that are not really covered by an elected official, they're covered under your umbrella. I don't mean that against you, I just mean that there's a lot of people that fit into that category that don't report directly to elected officials. And like the library, for example, I mean, they've got to have people there to come in, so they might send one, but do they understand that they can rotate that around? I don't want to see the same people continually getting 2 or 3 or 4 hours off and the others not getting it because it's not offered to them. And, you know, that it's fair and equal to all the employees. I don't want us to get in trouble for that.
No, I agree with you, Commissioner. No argument on that. Yeah, just so that the public knows, the custodians come under me, the maintenance people come under me, the collection facility comes under me. So I do have a lot of personnel that come.
More than that, we've got permitting.
Permitting, that's right. I got permitting. Yeah, so there is a lot of folks under my umbrella. I'll be glad to spread that out, Commissioners. You just call me and tell me which one you want to take, and you can help me out on that. So that's a joke.
I mean, I don't think we communicated real well to people what the rules are. And haven't put that encouragement out there so that the department's head that don't, I mean, they don't interact with you daily, a lot of them. I mean, some of them do, some of them don't. So I just want those people to know and understand that if this is something we want to participate in, then we need to make your burdens to the judge if he's in your line of reports.
Okay, so having said that, we have an understanding how we're going to run this. We'll be better at doing it. We don't need to take any action on that.
Judge, I do think the court needs to take action on approving the events. Either if they can be approved, they can be ratified if they've already taken place, they can be approved if they're coming up in the future. But when you're gonna have an event that the public is invited to participate, you're going to be using any county resource at all, whether it's the building, the parking lot, staff, internet, electricity, I mean, anything that uses a county resource, it does have to be approved by the court because the court manages all the county resources. So, I do suggest that there be county action approving, the event that took place as well as events in the future, just so that we know that, it makes it clear to the employees too in the future and any ambiguity, in the future as to whether or not it is a county event or not, and what resources we used. And then each individual department head can decide how they want their employees to participate, if at all or not at all, volunteer, comp time, whatever that decision is. Of course, they have the discretion to do that. But that way, it's seen as a sanctioned county event, that resources, vehicles, the sheriff's office, security, anything can be used
Yeah, that's a good point, because the San Antonio Food Bank brings maybe one or two personnel, their driver, and they're depending on us as volunteers to distribute the food. They don't have,
And collection.
the same thing with the collection, yeah.
Actually, should these things be in a personnel policy, we could take over, would that be an easier?
Well,
I mean, we could approve a carte blanche, you know, hey, you know, put it in the manual, and then that, the guidelines are there for everybody to read, because you get a new employee, they don't know, and
they can be, but each department head, should communicate to their employees when they have these events or this event coming up. So I don't know that it needs to be covered in the manual if each department head is going to manage participation. And I guess the manual could say something about participation will be left to the department heads with approval or advance notice or something like that, just to advise the employees. I don't know. Volunteer opportunities. For volunteer opportunities, that they would get it.
well, that's what I'm saying, at least it gives, everybody has, if they read your manual, which we know, 90% of you don't, but then they can come back and say, well, I didn't know, and well, you didn't read your manual, it's in your manual. And I don't want it to be real specific detail, but just enough to cover that, you know, from time to time, the county may have events, sponsored for, you know, for specifics, you need to contact your department head or elected official to find out what the parameters are for that specific event, because they could be different for different events.
That's fine, and I'll review with her, see if maybe there's something we can just put in there for clarification or for just information
Because
purposes.
today it's the food bank that's on the agenda, so what if, you know, the Floresville food pantry folks came and say, hey, can you help us out, we need some volunteers or something? Well, then that really needs to come to court specifically. I don't like ratifying those things because then people say, well, if I didn't know they were gonna give us free time off, well, I would have went to help, you know? That's why I want to get this out in front of people ahead of time so they can make a decision on what it is they want to do, knowing what the parameters are, how many hours are gonna be allowed off, or, you know, whatever that may be.
So are you still wanting this motion approved for specifically from San Antonio Food Bank? And commissioners, keep in mind, I suggest that it be revisited at the end of every year, because things change. If not,
Do you want to make this for events for next year then?
Yes.
Calendar year?
yes, sir, 26, yes. sir.
Calendar year 26 or
26.
physical year 26?
Calendar year 26.
I'll make a motion to approve Wilson County employees to volunteer while they're at work with approval of their elected official and/or department head as appropriate in assisting with San Antonio Food Bank drives in Wilson County for calendar year 2026.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Do we have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 19? Hear none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Motion passes. Move to agenda item number 20. I put this on here as well as the others. Discuss and take action on approving allowing Wilson County employees to attend while on duty their annual employee recognition luncheon for 2 hours on 12/11/2025. The reason I put that on there, Commissioners, because they do go past that 1 hour they have for lunch. It's actually why I'm asking, do we need this, or is it okay for them? Because that meal and that recognition period goes almost 2 hours.
This is something I think that these employees deserve, and I don't think this is something we need to be putting on the agenda.
Okay. As long as you're all okay with the extra hour that they're there, they're not leaving the county.
It's for them.
It's for them.
It is for them, it's to recognize them and thank them for the job.
Very good. I just want to get that clarified.
No, just to clarify, there's a difference between an event you're holding for the public to participate and an event you're holding for staff, for county employees. So luncheons, appreciation, a holiday party, summer, July 4th party, you don't need approval.
That would include the 4th of July picnic that we do every year, because that is a big draw.
You can,
Okay.
but you don't need to, because it's a county administrative event. Now, who participates and how, that would be up to the department heads. You can go, you can take the extra
That one's a little longer,
So
and
it's-
it
so
does
it's
advise
different.
spouses and children.
But it is still, a county, it is an employee event, it's not a public event, so, just, there's a difference there, so, you know, but however you wanna handle that.
I think it's good that we go no action, we have an understanding what we need to do, and we move on. Thank you. Agenda item number 21, we have Carl Fowler, our fire marshal, discuss and take action on burn ban.
Greetings, everyone. Mainly just discussion. I don't recommend an action on the burn ban. Our KPI is still lower than it was when we let it expire 2 weeks ago. I'm not gonna continue to put this on every court. I think we're just gonna keep a close eye on the drought index and the burning season. And if we need to do a special session, if it doesn't fall within Commissioner's Court, we'll do that. But I'm recommending we leave it off currently. I think Weldon County's just reinstated theirs, but their KPI is a little bit higher than ours. We're not out of the woods yet for drought, but we are low enough where I feel comfortable leaving that burn ban off.
Marshall, how many calls during this 2 weeks did we make a lot of? Because I'm looking at my phone, I see a couple of brush fires, but.
So, I was looking at those, I didn't get a chance to get all those numbers together. A majority of those illegal burns were at night, and that's why they were called in as illegal burns. I do want to remind the public to follow those burn guidelines, same as hunting guidelines, right? You can't hunt before sunset, sunrise, same thing with burning. And the majority of those were after sunset. And that's why they got
For
called.
the public, it is a state law that fires have to be extinguished at sundown, is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Friday night, I had a fire behind my house burning at 8:30 at night.
Yeah, so having said that, the commissioner brings up a good point, my neighbor behind, we did have some small brush that we needed to burn. But I got up the next morning, I still see a little bit of glow there. How do you monitor that? You don't see it at sundown, and all of a sudden, you see a glow at 6 o'clock next morning.
And those were a few of those burns that we had during the day were residual logs that had kind of sparked back up once that humidity recovery left us from overnight. We got a few of those in your precinct, I believe, in the Stockville area. There was some, they got called in for some logs, but that is on the homeowner that is doing the burn to ensure that that.
That particular call, state of Texas is doing a cleanup, trying to get 123 dealt with, and they had a pile there next to it. I don't know who started it, it was up to the ESD to figure it out, but, it was either done by the contractor, which they shouldn't have, or it was done by somebody who said, I see a stack of dead trees there, and wouldn't this be interesting?
What about Winsky? Isn't there a limit on?
Maximum 23 miles an hour, minimum 6 on wind speed.
Something for it, could you?
I was saying out in the Ticaster area, and out in there, I know some parts of the county that's had rain. Ours, it's just like a giant umbrella. We've had 2 tenths of rain in all this time. So out there, it's still dry. I know that other parts of the county had a lot of rain, but in that area, a lot in there, we have.
There are some dry pockets, so that is based off, the KPI is based off a county average. We can't really get samples from each individual precinct per se. But we did cut down a lot on emergency services response when we lifted it 2 weeks ago. I have seen a dramatic decrease in their call volume regarding that. But we did get some increases in the nighttime, illegal burns that we called them illegal. They were within parameters if they were during the day, right? But they were at night, so that's what made them illegal.
You have trouble whenever you talk fire marshal.
And yeah,
That's good.
one off there.
So your recommendation is to take no action on the current burn ban? I don't even know if we need a motion.
No.
So we just no action, we'll
Yeah.
put it on the website, let them know that burn ban is not in effect right now.
Correct. Again, if I see a dramatic change in weather, drought index, I'll get with you guys and we can do a special session and put that in, just so we're not having to visit every 2 weeks with it. I do watch it daily.
Okay.
I am watching the call volumes daily for each USD and responding fire department out there. So if I do see a dramatic increase, we'll certainly will act on that.
But you don't have to call in, just you burn. Now, if there's a large burn, y'all would like that, so the ESDs kind of know what's going on.
Yes,
correct?
so we do have a job form on the emergency management website, and that is just a notification burn. We're asking for that as a courtesy. That list gets emailed to the fire chiefs or the fire districts, or whatever contact they gave us. So they have a list of the burns that are going on in their area. So that way, if we do get a call, they know that there is a burn there, and they don't have to send the cavalry out there, maybe just a scout to go check it out. But it is not a requirement, no, it's more of a courtesy.
Okay. Move to agenda item number 22. Again, we have our fire marshal, Carl Fowler, discuss and take action on fireworks ban.
That I kind of wanted to put in y'all's court. I've only found one contiguous county with us that has banned sticks and fins in regards to fireworks. I don't believe Bear County has done anything yet, and they would have already done it, I believe. But if we are going to ban sticks and fins, it would have to be at this court date today, only because that would allow our firework vendors to properly order their inventory or cancel an order. Past this date, they're gonna be stuck with whatever they purchase. Again, just like with the burn ban, I haven't seen a lot. You guys are more in depth in some of your areas than I go. So if you guys see otherwise, I don't see a reason to ban the sticks and fins. Again, as long as the public is practicing safety and using, their best judgment in shooting those fireworks off. They are still not allowed in the city limits regardless of fireworks. So City of Livonia, City of Floresville, Stockdale. I know Stockdale has a place. Are they gonna do that again this year?
I'm not aware, because the ESD would be to man it as Stockdale VFD used to, and I haven't
I
heard
know
of
they
it.
manned it last year, but I haven't heard if they were gonna do that again this year at the park. To allow residents to come and shoot off fireworks there.
So what's your recommendation, Mark?
I'm good with no recommendation, let it be.
Okay, because I'm looking through you already have a preset just in case we.
Just in case, yeah, it is up to you guys, isn't it? But I don't see a reason we need to do that for the entire.
Commissioners, you all in agreement with no action for that in accordance with Marshall? Good? All right. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 23, we have Ms. Christina Moots, our county treasurer, discuss and take action on Wilson County's 2025-26 investment.
Good morning. What I'm presenting to you today is, like the judge said, the investment policy that we approve every year. It was given, given the blessing. We also nothing changed from last year on it. Everything stayed the same. I reviewed it, didn't feel anything needed to be changed on that. Obviously, following the rule of the local government code, as well as diversifying not all your eggs in the same basket. What I do with investments on next class and text pool. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Y'all had plenty of time to review.
Questions?
Same way.
All right, I'll entertain a motion in item number 23.
Make a motion that we adopt the Wilson County 2025-2026 investment policy as presented by the county treasurer. Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Cardova. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 23? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you. And then I do have a form for y'all to sign.
Okay. Move to agenda item number 24, Jim Stewart, our County Sheriff, Sheriff's Office Progress Report. Sergeant, you're not gonna give the report, are you?
I was given that.
All right, we'll bypass that. Move to agenda item number 25. We have Genevieve Martinez, our county clerk, discuss take action on commissioner reports. Okay, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 25.
Motion to accept the commissioner's court minutes.
You want to do all 3 days at the same time?
Yes.
You're stating all 3 days, correct? November 10th,
November
17th, and November 24th.
17th.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 25? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Move to agenda item number 26, Jalen Barford, Human Resource Specialist, presentation and payroll and personnel change.
Good morning. Jennifer Ramirez resigned from the Permits and Development Department effective October 27. Autumn Dorr resigned from her position as a dispatcher with the Sheriff's Department effective November 24th. And Melanie Hernandez resigned from her position as a flex deputy with the Sheriff's Department effective November 25th.
Any questions, Ms. Barford? All right, thank you. Agenda item number 27, Brenda Thurina, County Auditor, to discuss and take action on county bills.
Got the report that's, it was emailed to you or put in your iPads, but a update was done this morning, so I don't know if, Rachel updated your iPads, but the most current copy is being passed to you now. The total amount is $457,002.22. And with that, there is, one asset being purchased that's greater than $20,000, and that's for Road and Bridge Precinct 2 from Alamo City Trailer Sales for a 2026 Armorlite 40-foot bottom dump truck for $43,735.
So about 30,000 from the report.
You mean it there?
If it was 487, that's, no, actually, I don't know if
Okay. I think the change was related to something that Commissioner King had.
What I had was, $4,700 for the skid steer getting tracks changed at the collection facility. It was on my bills that need to go to collection facility bills.
So the dollar amount did.
Dollar amount did
change.
change.
Change over.
Correct.
To the
I talked to Amanda about that, it was already correct.
So on the non-departmental, does Carol Rutledge, the reimburser for, was that related to the mama event? And that shouldn't really be charged to the rescue plan. That doesn't seem like that's an eligible item.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that is the porta potty rental for the construction side.
For what?
What happened,
It's not,
Yes.
yeah, but she rented a porta potty because we had cut off the facilities at that building.
oh, I think what Commissioner Martin is saying is so that it
Hang
should
on,
not
wrong
be
place.
charged to this department.
To that department.
Correct, it should be.
So it comes out of the general fund.
Expo,
The expo.
Expo
show
center.
barn.
Got it,
Yeah.
okay, we'll
Fun.
move it.
I agree with that, yeah, and that was for the reason is that the pipe was broke back there, we had to supply bathrooms for that event back there, because those, this week will be back in operation again, so.
Well, once plumbing is done.
Once plumbing, they're out.
Got it, okay. We'll
And
move
if they're
it.
not, then we still have that,
It will be done before the show.
yeah, it'll be done.
So, all these Amazon business items on EOC, that's related to building and construction? That doesn't look like, I mean, I don't know what it is, but.
I'd have to go pull the invoices, so basically what happens is Cindy reviews all of the invoices and lets us know whether it goes under emergency management or the operations center budget, I mean, the EOC budget for the new building. So I have to go pull and see what they were that she
It
authorized.
should only be, check should only be the broadest or RBK or supplies to operate the bill. I mean, the IT equipment's obviously need to set up your IT stuff, that's project related. But supplies, if that's just supplies, does not constitute a building cost. And then I had a question on the Christmas lights, because we only approved $8,724, so I guess we're paying for it, so all these other groups are gonna reimburse us, but that's 10,000, almost 10,000.
Yes, it's the city of Floresville, and so I spoke with her 2 weeks ago and asked, I sent her a copy of this invoice, and, she's waiting on an invoice from me to provide her for their portion of it, but I didn't want to send her the invoice until we pay, until it gets paid, and then she'll send us a check for all of it.
Getting that right person.
But that's more than double, so she's getting billed for the difference, or I don't know why it's more than what half of, because we approved to pay for half of it, and that's more than half of what we approved. It's 87 and 87 would be 17,000 something.
Yeah, I'll go look at the invoice, it may have been, there may have been some additional lighting, so I'll pull up, and I don't have the invoice with me, so I will go back and pull it up. Oh, I know what it is, Commissioner Martin. So, if y'all notice, the Christmas tree downstairs, was, paid for by a generous donor for all of those new decorations for the tree. Thank you, Bidgewood, for doing that. That was not county money that was used. However, the lights for that Christmas tree were no longer working, and that's, Commissioner Martin, that's where that additional $1,000 is, because Tim Newsom, just the guy that strung all of the lights in the courthouse yard and on the surrounding buildings, came in and installed lights on that tree, and we didn't have to buy those lights, and so he sent in a crew to come in so that we didn't have anybody up on the ladder stringing lights on the tree, and I believe that's what that additional is for.
So that's coming out of the reserve account?
No, sir, we've got the money that is specifically from that capital fund. It's a separate fund that is money that's given to us by the state, that does not, come gotten between $16,000 and $17,000. Right now in the fund balance, I believe we have 48,000-ish, I'm not sure, Christina would have to, let me know if she knows, but it's somewhere around there. And so those are the funds that we allocate every year. This year, the capital credit check that we received was a little under $5,000. So it just depends on unclaimed credits that are out there, and then that determines how much the state, distributes to us. So it does not hit the general fund at all.
That's what I'm fixing, I'm looking, bouncing back and forth again. So, the bill that I had taken off precinct 2 for $4,770.60, it is not showing up underneath the collection facilities, not on the new printout. Find out where that went.
Who was the, who was the vendor?
They changed the tracks on the skid steer.
Is it the one that you were talking to Amanda about earlier?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Audio. Oh, it should be whiskey 1802621, the invoice number.
Okay, 1 second, please.
Well, that's fallen on, number, page 11 on the iPad. My bills. See if it's in any of y'all's accounts.
You said it's RDO?
Yes.
It will be, it's power plan, OIBs, but it's labeled as for the vendor.
This does not have,
Oh.
I haven't found what you sent via email.
Oh. Okay.
I don't think I got it either.
She said it's under the collection facility, it says power plan. Yeah, it's on page 4 of 17. Power plan, $4,770.60.
Okay. Wearing glasses.
Brenda, was that the one where the guy that did the repair wasn't getting, he said he didn't get paid, he had moved his business to something else? Isn't that one of them? Okay.
These guys changed the tracks, I saw the bill for it.
Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 27.
Make a motion to pay the bills as presented by the auditor in the amount of, yeah. I don't have the, yeah, I didn't have the cents written down on the sheet. $157,002.22.
Second.
And you want to just move it to the other category? With the noted change of moving the rental of the porta potty over to the expo center budget and out of the ARC.
I will review those invoices with Cindy for the expo center and then send a response.
For the EOC.
I mean, EOC, yes.
I have a motion, I need a second. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, second by Commissioner Curdo. Do we have any other discussion regarding the agenda item number 27? Hear none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Commissioner King, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dole. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. We are adjourned at 11:12